to be the first country live event to allow us to get together. And people watching this think, how is it going to fare out? We're not sure this is going to be so we're really grateful an interesting day for us all. The ACC, having people come live, opportunity virtual, first people out there in the audience in the UK cities. And people watching this think, we want to expand a bit more fare out. We're not sure this is going to be more an interesting day for us all. Our process, see how people come live, collaborate, virtual, amazing work that people out there in the audience has provided the population. Of course, we wanted to expand a bit more. Of course, it's very sad. The pandemic has shown us. If you look at the John Hopkins index thoughts, our process. And share and collaborate. The amazing work that healthcare has provided the population around the world. We have more than 100,000 people. Of course, it's very sad, of course, suffered. If you look at the John Hopkins index in healthcare workers who sadly passed away, over 3 million people. It's been a tough year during COVID. So this conference really is dedicated to those people who've suffered, who have endless colleagues in healthcare workers who sadly passed away due to COVID. It's been a tough year. So this conference really is dedicated to those people who've suffered with COVID, who are still suffering with COVID. But hopefully, it'll also be an example of the future, to be positive. Think we're going to get out what we learned, how do we push forward, what's that new normal look like in the future. And technology innovation makes a huge contribution to the future of healthcare. I'd like to also mention a few of the highlights from today as we go forward. Hope you can join us both in physical space and also in the virtual world. They call me the virtual surgeon because I spend a lot of time collaborating in virtual reality and other things. But actually, it's about being together. It's so good to see people face to face, see the whites of their eyes, seeing them close by. We've missed that over the last year. So what an opportunity for us to at least reimagine what society could look like in the future. I'm just going to share a couple of highlights with you today. We've got a few minutes to go before we introduce our first speaker. So what we've done today is bring partnerships together. We've got some startups that you've seen in the foyer. Please go and speak to them. They've traveled up from various parts of the country, talk about their amazing ideas, help them, nurture them, support them, mentor them. Please do interact with them and find out what their thoughts are around their projects they're developing. Later on, many of them will be on the startup competition. Giant stands for innovation. We want to get everyone together, the VCs, the innovators, the startups, the universities, the hospitals, healthcare workers, to come together. I think we're unique in this space. When we set up this conference 6-7 years ago, it was about creating a community of like-minded people going to reimagine healthcare, to reinvent healthcare, and to work on the problems, to solve and find solutions for the problems we have in healthcare, whether it's mental health, chronic disease, whether it's cancer, my own specialty, and others, to think about what can we do better and improve. During the last year, we've seen how the NHS can change very quickly, innovate rapidly, change the rules and regulations, bringing innovation like 3D printing, like Ian Hennessy will talk about later on, about the kind of innovation work they've been doing in Liverpool. Liverpool's been great innovation. We're really delighted to be here, where there's an epicenter and focus of innovation and funding. Later on, we'll be hearing from experts in digital therapeutics, also on AI and its utilization across the UK and abroad. And also, we'll be talking about education. We've seen how education has changed over the last year. More virtual education, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, etc. We're looking at immersive technologies coming in. HE now thinking about implementing change across the postgraduate spectrum. And so it's exciting where the new models of education are coming in that are purely digital, will allow us to connect better around the world as well as the UK. So I'm very excited by today. I think there's so much in Liverpool to be shared, so many ideas that will come out of this. Hopefully I can encourage you to network. Giant is not about one event. It's the whole year. We have events throughout the year, culminating in our end-of-year big kind of extravaganza. So do please come to that. Also find friends, colleagues who you can interact with. It's about nurturing those connections so that we can all benefit from shared experiences. Now, I've spent a lot of time around the world. I have given around about 250 keynotes in about 35 countries the last 3 years. But the UK is really buoyant. It's really at the forefront of change with amazing innovation taking place across the healthcare system. Look at the NHS now. We have a number of organizations, NHS Digital, NHS X. We have the AHSNs, universities collaborating in innovation. We have Tony Young's entrepreneurship program. We have NHS academies of learning. And of course, we'll hear soon from the Innovation Agency also take much further in terms of creating this kind of network of innovation. I'm going to hand over to our first kind of speaker. And we're lucky that the Metro Mayor of Liverpool, Steve Rotherham, has left us with a lovely message. We'll share a few videos of the City of Liverpool.
Hello everybody, and thank you for inviting me to speak at the European Health Tech Innovation Week. My name is Steve Rotherham and I'm the recently re-elected Metro Mayor of the Liverpool City region. I feel honoured that the area that I represent as Mayor will be hosting the first of these seminars, especially at this wonderful venue, before you head off to pastures new in Paris, Berlin, Stockholm, and then on to Barcelona on your 1 week whistle-stop tour. It's also great that we can now get together in a safe and socially distanced way, and on the day that we take the next step in the road to open up our whole economy. I'm sorry that I can't physically be with you this morning, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to say hello and to tell you a little bit about the work that's going on here in our city region. And it's absolutely fitting that the Liverpool city region should be the host of one of these Health Innovation Week events. After all, we've been behind some of the biggest changes in public health at home and abroad over the last century or two. Pioneering, innovating, and saving lives. If we glance back to the past for a moment, you'll see why I'm so confident about our future, because it was our region that gave birth to the first ever district nurse in Mary Robinson, the first ever medical officer of health in Dr. Duncan, the first ever public wash house, which was established by Kitty Wilkinson, and we had the first smoking ban in pubs and clubs in England. More recently, our city region has been at the forefront of battling coronavirus, patenting one of the first rapid COVID antigen tests at Daresbury Proteins in Runcorn, supporting vaccine development at our world-class School of Tropical Medicine, mass test and piloting and in-person gatherings that have paved the way for events like today's. What's clear is that our capacity to innovate didn't end in centuries past. It's alive and kicking today. And there are examples of this all around us. But as the vaccine rollout and easing of restrictions heralds the return to something resembling normality, our focus now returns to what we need to do in the future. And my job as the mayor is to make sure that we create the ecosystem in which health innovators can thrive and for them to become the pioneers and lifesavers of tomorrow. And as we so often do in our area, where we're leading, many others will follow, whether that's our plans for ultra-fast broadband network across the city region with quicker speeds than anywhere else in the country, our civic data cooperative, which will revolutionise how data is used to deliver better healthcare outcomes for our residents, as well as creating new health technology jobs in the area, or our plans for something called The Hill in Liverpool, a 10-acre physical health campus with on-site research facilities and trial facilities, which will help us deliver a revolution in health and social care. These projects bring together our unique life science assets with our world-leading research institutions and digital technologies, putting us once again at the vanguard of health innovation. So enjoy your stay. I hope you all have a wonderful week, wherever that might be, and I hope you'll be able to come back and I'll meet some of you in person in a not so distant future. But in the interim, please enjoy your time in the country's cultural capital, and don't forget to spend a few pounds whilst you're here for our economy and the growth that we need. Thanks a lot.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Watts. I'm the co-founder and managing director of Bloom Health and an NHS junior doctor. Bloom Health was built by a team of medics and techies to merge healthcare excellence with technological innovation, with the sole goal of filling the world with secure, high-quality software solutions. We do this in 3 ways. So we innovate. We build our own software solutions for real healthcare unmet needs, and we're currently revolutionising the patient journey within healthcare consumable goods. We collaborate. So we turn traditional healthcare and allied sector organisations into forward-thinking clicks and mortar businesses, recognising that amid the COVID pandemic, health technology is here to stay. So far, we've supported NHS trusts, universities and large corporations revolutionise their way of working. We've even built and sold 2 COVID solutions within the last 6 months. We enable. So as a startup, we felt the struggle of getting off the ground, which is why we now support solo entrepreneurs and SMEs kickstart their ideas through pro bono support and flexible collaborative arrangements. Because of these ways of working, we've been self-funded to date, and over the last year, a team of 3 has grown to a team of 16, which is really exciting for us, and we look forward to moving forward. I've been on the programme for the last few years now, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with Tony and the team. The best parts of being among such like-minded individuals is the education, so learning about business, particularly within the health sector, and understanding what it is that you need to do at every point in time as you move through your journey. The support that comes with that, so having mentorship, gaining advice when you need it from pro bono supporters, and also the pit stops where you can ask questions at every stage along the way. And finally, and probably my favourite, is the network. Meeting other people that are on the same journey as you, have the same vision as you, and want to make the same impact as you is really valuable. And I'd really recommend this programme. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Rachel Grimaldi, co-founder and CEO of CardMedic and an NHS anaesthetist. CardMedic is a website and app designed to improve communication between healthcare staff and patients across any barrier, whether that's visual, hearing or cognitive impairment, language barriers or PPE. It's essentially a one-stop communication shop, so it's an A to Z list of content that replicates clinical conversations around common healthcare topics. So members of staff can visit the website or the app, choose the topic they'd like to talk to the patient about, and then show them the screen. You can be flexible at the point of care to overcome any barrier, so the content's multilingual, we can convert it to easy read with pictures, sign language videos or a read aloud mode, and we also have an integrated translation tool. From concept to launch in 72 hours over the last year, we've had 50,000 users in 120 countries and 16,000 app downloads. It's been an absolute whirlwind. We're also Innovate UK funded, working with the Department for International Trade as well, and have been part of the Hill cohort at Oxford. I'm just joined within the last couple of months the NHS Clinical Entrepreneur Programme, which is absolutely fantastic. There are so many benefits to this programme, but I think my top 3, if I had to pick, is number 1, the business, the training that you get, taking you from a clinician with no business knowledge or experience at all to one that's able to really understand much more about the NHS, the structure, procurement, the new kind of language and jargon around the business world, and just really give you more confidence when talking about finances, pitching, pitch decks, talking to investors, looking at how to structure your business. There are so many different benefits from that point of view. And I think the other 2 really powerful benefits are the opportunity to collaborate with other entrepreneurs, because we're all clinicians, and there are now actually some non-clinicians part of the programme as well. And people just have the most amazing ideas, and there is so much room for collaboration. And I think to have that network where you all are sharing that common goal, you've got that common experience, is just a brilliant starting point. And then expanding beyond the collaboration opportunities is of course the networking as well, because with over 700 clinical entrepreneurs, someone knows someone else who could always help you. So it's just an absolutely fantastic network, both within the NHS itself, commercially, in industry, across the UK and globally as well. So I'm just so honoured to be a part of this programme. I'm loving it, all the sessions we've had so far. The mentorship is fantastic. And for anyone looking to join it, I would highly, highly recommend it.
Hey, we're back live, I guess.
And for anyone looking to join it.
Can we just stop that? Thank you. Great. So, look, that was some of our startups talking about their journeys. These are here from Liverpool. And we mentioned the entrepreneurship program, which is a national program of bringing the innovators together. Innovation is obviously the key for us in this conference, which we've tried to promote over the last few years. And who better than to talk more about innovation than the CEO of Innovation Agency, Phil Jennings. Thank you.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. I'm Phil Jennings. I'm the CEO of the Innovation Agency. First of all, just want to say how great it is to be here in person after what seems like such a long time. You can see that the suit still fits, so that's a great relief. And it's an enormous privilege for me to be part of this opening team, welcoming you to Liverpool today as part of Giant's European Health Tech Week. So the Innovation Agency is one of 15 academic health science networks in England. And together we operate as the innovation arm of the NHS. We provide a link between entrepreneurs and businesses, academic institutions, and the front line of the NHS. Now, we do that in three main ways, and I'd just like to spend a few minutes talking to you about each of those. So I think the first thing to say is that we're all about spread and adoption. So the problem is not finding innovation. There are literally thousands of great ideas out there. The problem is that far too often those ideas don't spread from one hospital to another or from one GP surgery to the next. And this means that the innovation never breaks out of that very small footprint, and so that ultimately it fails. And what we do is we bring entrepreneurs and businesses together with influencers in the NHS. Now, the NHS is a pretty complex organisation, not least because we change it all the time. We've got hundreds of hospitals, we have thousands of GP surgeries, and hundreds of thousands of frontline clinical staff. So it can be quite difficult to navigate, and one of the roles that we play is to bring those entrepreneurs or businesses in front of the decision makers in our local systems. And we can help with articulating a value proposition, or perhaps help with a business case to help to get that innovation off the ground. Now, we do that in our local systems, but equally we work together as a network of 15 AHSNs supporting a number of national programs. And when we do this, this is when we can really accelerate the pace of spread and adoption. So we work within our systems. We find that it's important to develop a culture that is ready to accept innovation. So we support a number of communities of practice. So these may be clinical in nature, so for instance, maternal or neonatal health, or cardiovascular disease, or they may be much broader in their nature. So for example, patient safety. And what we do is we teach and we train. We do that using quality improvement methodology. And then through our coaching academy, we help to support colleagues in the NHS, giving them the time and the headspace to think differently and work differently so that we can create this culture of innovation. Finally, we emphasize the link between economic prosperity and population health. So too many times we see that some of our most tricky clinical challenges are deeply rooted in the wider determinants of health. So whether that's unemployment or housing or education. And it's our role to help to break that down, recognizing that if we can attract investment into our region, ultimately that will help to improve growth, create jobs, and help the population become more healthy. So the Liverpool City region is a great place to work. Now you're going to be hearing from a number of our partners through the course of the day. We've got world-leading academic institutions. We are experts in data science, in materials, in virtual reality, for example. And this is coupled with a thriving community of both small and medium-sized businesses, as well as a number of multinationals, all of which are on our patch. Partnered with that are world-leading clinical institutions, and this is together with a significant reinvestment in the clinical estate in the Liverpool City region. It's our aim to make the NHS the most innovative health system in the world. And I think during the pandemic, you've seen just what the NHS can do when we put our mind to it. So I would point you to the fact that we've run a national procurement and deployment of virtual consultation platform across the country, or perhaps our performance during the vaccination programme. What's really crucial is that we can learn from that and adopt some of those new business processes to become normal practice for us in the future. And I think also through the pandemic, a conversation that we've been having with our patients for some time now has accelerated. So increasingly, we've seen the use of home monitoring to allow patients to be managed in their own homes with some technology rather than have to go into hospital. So this started with pulse oximeters during COVID, but in fact it's a framework for many of the long-term conditions that we commonly see, whether that's diabetes or heart failure or hypertension. And so in the future, I think this combination of remote monitoring technology coupled with managed digital self-support for patients will revolutionize the way we manage long-term conditions with a view to improving outcomes and ultimately reducing hospital admissions. So this is our ultimate aim. So this is Innovus Medical, who are here exhibiting at the conference today. They had a very humble start in St. Helens, but have now grown to be a global leader in surgical simulation technology. And it's this kind of example that we need to see more of to really drive our economy, produce those jobs, and ultimately improve the health of our population. So really, it just remains for me to thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to welcome you this morning. I hope you have a great day here in Liverpool and indeed then across the rest of our European partners through the rest of the week. If you'd like to find out more about what we do at the Innovation Agency, or indeed how we might be able to help you or your business, then please drop by our stand or visit our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Time for one quick question for you.
Sure.
So we've learned a lot from the pandemic. We've kind of, the new normal, as they call it. Innovation has been the heart of that. Where do you think that new normal will be? What have we learned that will stick? Because sometimes you almost go backwards to go forwards. And what's your thoughts, Bill?
A couple of things, really. Yeah. So I think the first is about that those barriers that we've often seen getting in the way of innovation. So data sharing regulations have often caused us problems in terms of how we can really capitalise on that wealth of data we have in the NHS. Probably the best data source anywhere in the world, but very poorly utilised. Through the pandemic, particularly here in the city region, we've managed to bring that data together, which has really informed our decision making. I think it's crucial that we continue with that. And again, I think the other thing for me, especially being a primary care kind of doctor, is this business of being able to treat people more at home using technology with some kind of support. So whether that's over the phone or maybe using an app or a website, certainly see that as a new normal for us. And that, again, will bring a lot of efficiency into the way we do our business in the future.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing how that transpires going forward. Thanks so much for joining us.